What's going on, everyone? It's Nick with Us versus Herd. If it's your first time here, you like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications if we go live or post videos such as our watch list, tap the bell. And if you want to join the UVH fam, links are below to our Discord, our Patreon, and our free option trading group on Facebook. If you're here right now, say what up. We're just getting going on here. Kind of a not really a crazy day, but kind of a choppy, flattish day in the markets. I mean, the SPY only moved like $1 all day. It closed down 48 cents, down 0.16%. Yo, Tan, what's going on? DD1, DVD, Starman. What's going on? What's going on today? Hope you guys are doing well. If you made money today, comment got paid. If you lost money today, comment learned a lesson. We're going to be going through the Netflix earnings here in a second. I also have my trades as well. Just trying to get things organized over here. All right. Spiders. Andrew got paid. I'm drinking a Coke. Gonna be at a major loss tomorrow. Netflix earnings gamble and didn't go my way. No. Tactical options trading. What's popping? So for me, I've been kind of playing it low and slow. I'll show you my. Before you guys want to do my trades first. You guys want to do Netflix first. What do you guys say? What do you guys think? Go over trades first or talk about Netflix first? I'll leave it up to you. Yo, Tom, what's going on? Netflix. All right. Okay, let's do your trades 100%. Andrew says Netflix. Okay, so far it's 2 against 1. All right. All right, Netflix. They did lower guidance. King Jacob. Not really, but I do have some positions on now. King Jacob, I do have some positions on now, which I will cover. I did have a couple swing positions going into tomorrow. Or tan loss. Sorry, man. All right. Yo, Billy, what's going on, man? How's the baby? How's life? How you letting the wife sleep at all? Billy just had a newborn over the weekend, so congratulate Billy in the chat. We definitely appreciate it. His firstborn son came into the world over the weekend. Oh, it's a woman. It's a girl. I thought. Oh no, she's chilling. Yeah, you had a boy. Your wife's chilling. Got it. Big congratulations for Billy. All right, so getting into Netflix, they had pretty low expectations. They beat expectations. Challenge lets you sell your shares to. Maybe I should do that. Hold on a second. Does it let me do that? I actually have. Let me try it. Let me try to. I don't know if it lets me. Let's try to close this. Let's try to close this position out real quick. Let's try to close out at 310. No, it doesn't. It doesn't let you. Doesn't let you. All right, that doesn't let you do that. All right, we'll cancel the order. Anyways, I did just to kind of fill you guys in. I was talking to FC. I did the Tasty Works challenge, but for Netflix earnings. So if you guys don't know what the Tasty Works challenge is, you can sign up for Tasty Works challenge. They give you $5,000 in buying power, and you have to make like $250 within 2 days. However, it's stocks only. You can only buy stocks. So that's what I was trying to do. So I thought FC, because I would be up on my position right now. FC was saying, "Hey, can you close it after hours like you can during anything else?" And clearly you cannot. So it looks like it's only during market hours. All right. Well, let's get back to Netflix earnings. So they beat earnings, $1.47 versus 104. Revenue, $5.24 billion versus $5.25 billion expected, so about in line. Subscribers, they only did 517,000 versus 802,000 expected. So that's domestic. International, they did beat by, about 200,000. So I guess it's pretty offset. I would say they beat on revenue and everything, but they didn't. Subscribers, they didn't really do that well on. In terms of, what do they say for guidance? In a letter to shareholders, Netflix addressed the onslaught of new streaming services that are set to arrive later this year, including Disney's Plus and Apple's Apple Plus, as well as NBC's Peacock. I can't even. Why did they name it Peacock? Peacock. You can't take it seriously. The company warned the launch of the new services will noisy and could generate modest headwinds in the near term. So, they're preparing for, I guess, the worst. Many are focused on the streaming wars, but we've been competing with streamers, Amazon, YouTube, Hulu, as well as linear TV for over a decade. Yeah, I don't think Netflix is that in trouble per se, where people are going to cancel their subscriptions, but there are going to be more choices. So, looking at the chart here, we're at what, 306 right now, kind of come down. And also Netflix has to go get through the earnings calls. Through earnings calls is always going to be interesting. So earnings calls, people go on there, they say a bunch of crazy things. They could have good earnings, but sometimes on the conference calls, someone says something, causes the stock to drop, or even they might say something and cause the stock to rip up. Netflix long term for the last year. Let me move this back down. Netflix on the last year here, they hit a low of 231, but we've been on the decline since 380 and just been, we how many was it, double, triple top here? It was like a triple top. We triple topped up here, the 380 area, and last quarter was a disaster for Netflix. So we could say at 307. So right here we're at 307. So the stock is right here right now. It could be breaking above these highs right here. Would definitely break the trend, and then we could concentrate on getting past like these highs up here, like 315 and like the 335, 336 area. We could really concentrate on getting past those highs here to go to the gap fill. So, once we got through this, it kept hitting the wall here at 300 a few weeks ago. Oh, now it's like months. It was back in August. Netflix kept hitting the wall at like 300, and we ripped down recently, and we started to recover, and now we're at 307. It did hit a high of 318, so that was up in here to kind of right in here. So that 318 would be above these highs here. So this could definitely get squeezy. So buy calls tomorrow for Netflix. You got to be aware of the price action. Just because we pop open, there's a couple of things a couple ways earnings kind of impacts the stock and things that happen. Like what could happen is we could gap up big, and the stock stays the same, doesn't move at all day. Maybe goes plus or minus a couple bucks, burns premium, whatever. People that didn't cash out, wish they cashed out at open, stuff like that. It could gap up and fade. We could just kind of fade all day, go back to where we opened. It could go back, gap up here to like 318, 320, fade back down to 286, or this could rip. It could trigger some sort of short covering up to 360, 350. I mean, and anything can happen with Netflix. I mean, I've seen Netflix do some crazy things, and I think the one of my biggest learning, going back a few years ago, like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't remember, it was a while ago, but one of the reasons why I don't trade Netflix during earnings is because 3 years ago I had a super wide iron condor. I mean, I want to say the thing was like 50 points each direction, right? It was about 50 points each direction, and I don't remember what earnings this was, but I ended up going max loss on Netflix. It was like $1,500 selling premium. I had an iron condor, and I sold premium on Netflix, and that was the last time that I sold or traded earnings on Netflix, because that thing's, it could go either way. I mean, it could gap up big, it could stay the same. Netflix is a wild one. So, I've in terms of earnings, I've seen a lot of things over the years, and Netflix is one of those stocks that you don't try to put in a box and try to make it fit, because Netflix always does what it wants to do. It goes up when you think it's going to go down. It goes down when you think it's going to go up. When the market is going down, Netflix finds a way to rally. When the it gets crazy. Aaron popped up 10G in paper count, and nice. So there's with Netflix, you gotta be careful about. I mean, this Netflix has always been wild. Netflix has always been a wild stock. When it was 90, when it was 300, when it was 200. This thing is wild. This literally went from, in 5 days, we went from 263 up to 286 in just 5 days, 5 business days, that is. And we've also seen crazy drops from 300 down to 250 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days as well. So Netflix really could go either direction. It could really do anything. And the one thing that I am concerned about is with Netflix is the amount of debt they have. They're currently $12 billion in debt. They've always had this amount of debt. However, maybe not that much. I mean, but they spend a lot of money to fund their shows. But one thing that I never understood is why Netflix continued to go up, and they kept increasing their debt load. And really, it was about the subscribers and the value and the value they were offering their customers. That's how Wall Street was pricing them, not how much debt they had. But as you can see here, it wasn't until last couple of years where with the stock market, because the stock market hasn't been going up over the last 18, 20 months, we've been getting capped out. And Netflix has been one of those stocks, has also just been kind of, there's a lot of bad press right now with Netflix because of the streaming wars. There's a lot of unknowns. However, what people don't understand is, what they don't talk about, not that they don't understand it. Rewatch, what's going on? One of the things that they don't understand, or they don't talk about, like on CNBC or Yahoo or something like that, is they did say it in the earnings today, was they've been at this 10 years in the game. I mean, Netflix shut down Blockbuster. They've been competing against television last 10 years. They know the game, where Disney and them, I mean, they're in the entertainment industry, but they haven't been streaming. Apple's a new one. I mean, all these services are coming, but I mean, Netflix has definitely have a foothold, and they're definitely like the OG on the block. I mean, they know the market, they know what the customers want, and they know how to win. So they do have an edge there, and they're continuing to develop like Netflix originals, even though it does cost them a lot of money in terms of debt to produce these shows. So that being said, there's a case for the Bulls, and then there's a case for the Bears. You know what I mean? Driving into work for midnights. Nice. Yo, Manny, what's going on? we're just talking about Netflix. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on Netflix in terms of like the bearish or bullish sentiment? I mean, there's a case for both, and there's always been a case for both. However, the stock has always gone up, and when it hit 231 back in December, I mean, it was nonstop up to 350 within 2 weeks. December 21st, December 27th hit the low, and then it continued higher all the way up to January 15th. I need to have 3 straight red days, gone from 350 to 200. I need help have had 3 Stelios. You got to take a break. Take a break. What you're doing isn't working. You gotta take a step back and figure out what's going on. Probably get choppy after a pump. Yeah, I mean, if we're breaking these highs, obviously it'll be like kind of like by the dip, but we have to be careful. In terms of Roku's actually moving a little bit on the news as well. After hours, not that much, but it is up about $1. So that's the other thing is you could play. I don't know if Disney's moving. Let's see. You can play. If you're new to options, one of the things that you can do is play competing companies. So let's take it like for instance, let's say the banks are reporting earnings, which they just did, and let's say JP Morgan, you want to play JP Morgan, but you want to pay the premiums. Maybe you'll play Bank of America if they were reporting a different week. Now Disney's up on this news as well, so Disney's now a competing company. So you could have bought, if you're kind of going to be bullish on this, you could probably bought some calls on Disney to kind of play out this action. So there's also, with earnings, it also causes ripples in the stock market where it creates opportunities for you in other stocks. So, just because Netflix reported earnings, that doesn't mean that was the only opportunity at play. There's Disney. I wonder if Apple's moving on this. Not really. But you could have Disney looked like it would have been a solid play. Disney options were probably pretty cheap too. I mean, like, yeah, a dollar for the $1.31s, 131s, and we're at 132 now. So trading at, what are we trading at here? 50 at oh, they were 90 delta. So 90 delta, you make 100. You could make almost 100%. You could have made almost 100% on these 131 calls on Disney by kind of playing the ripple effect on Netflix. I agree with Netflix being the OG. If they want to stay at top of the game, they will need to innovate, and maybe they have something big in the works. Just a thought. Yeah, I mean they gotta do something. I mean, now the big thing for Netflix was when they went from shipping DVDs to people instead of us going to Blockbuster, right? And then the next evolution of things is, forget the DVD. Let's just make it available online. Internet connections are just as fast. What's next? What's next in terms of innovation? I'm bullish due to the fact that they're the OG, automatically no commercials, and 87% of their specials are pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty cheap. The one thing they probably, people don't like when I say this, but I think that they either need to charge more or crack down on the password sharing. That costs them a lot of money in revenues with people sharing their credentials. Kit, glad to see you here. Yeah, you guys, if you like the content so far, hit the like button. I definitely would appreciate it. Helps out the stream and the channel. I stayed in AMD puts and made 240 today. 35 contracts. Nice. I'm gonna look at AMD. For me, just imagine if Netflix tries to introduce live streaming somehow or become like a YouTube competitor in a sense. I mean, one thing that I think would be interesting, what Netflix could potentially do would be some sort of live news service financial news, something like that. Like people would tune into Netflix for those news services, and offer more service to people versus just shows. And yeah, Aaron, I was just gonna say that, like, team up with gamers, that are big. We have, obviously, like Ninja, Nick Merck, Cypher PK, people like that are big in the streaming world that could bring in a lot of eyeballs. Shroud, they could have like an esports. They can also do like competition. So like also they can get licensing rights for like football and stuff. How Amazon and Twitch does Thursday Night Football on Twitch. Netflix could start competing for those licenses. Bring Sunday Night Football to Netflix or something. Probably piss a lot of people off, but it might do something. If they could adapt live TV, that'd be nuts. Yeah, I mean they could. I think that there's a lot of potential, but right now we're still in the infancy of the like live streaming. Like right now with me live streaming on YouTube, I mean I think live streaming in itself is in its infancy, and not a lot of people do it because I want to say live streaming. In terms of me live streaming versus making a video, I would definitely say live streaming is harder, because if you make a mistake while speaking, if you misspeak, or people call you out for mistakes, and that's all fine. That's all part of like just being natural and talking and stuff like that. Super stale market. I'm glad I took this week off. Daniel, I'm with you. I've been chilling. About I dumped enough to jump on in. Nice. I think live streaming is way more authentic. We're humans. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I've always debated, like live streaming versus just posting a video. And posting a video to me feels very static, and I honestly prefer interacting with the UVH community through streaming because it's live, it's interactive, and I get a sense of what you guys want out of me, and also I get to bounce ideas off of you as well, because this is very, very two-sided. Versus me just making a video, it's relatively just me talking on a subject that you may find interesting, you may not find it interesting, but it's not as interactive. I think short and RNG, Jeff, RNG. RNG, not J, right? RNG. Ring Central. Ring Central. Do they trade options? Or Ring Central? Oh, they do have monthly options here. Volume is not the best, but not terrible. Not terrible. Bid and ask is a little wide, but not terrible. I mean, I also own a business in the IT field, so I definitely am not a fan of Ring Central, but not to be biased about being short or long or anything, but I wouldn't mind shorting them. I don't know what the news is that got them up here. They have earnings November 4th. Might be a good one. Might be a good one to look at. But going into my trades here, so one of the things that I've been doing, I've been trading this week relatively slow. We're in a very slow market. I would say that I made a couple of mistakes today. I had good entries. I had good entries on Square and Microsoft, and I blew it. I did have a good entry on Tesla as well, which I did take off for a 30% profit. But Microsoft, I got in at 9.51 today. Now I ended up losing small. I lost what on Microsoft, $13, and I lost $6 on Square. But it's not that I lost money on that. It's not that I lost a little bit of money. It's that I didn't take profit. So in this slow market, I have to take profits at 20 to 30%. AC, what's going on? I have to take profits at 20 to 30%. Anything beyond 20 to 30% in this market, I've discovered that it's gotten pretty risky. I mean, obviously, there's going to be certain different news things and different circumstances where you can make more money. But in this market, I find that if you don't take the money at 20 to 30%, you're kind of gambling. And today was another confirmation of that. So at 9/11, I bought the 140 calls at 9/11. So it was on this candle right in here. Maybe I should go down to the 5-minute chart so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, so at 9/11, so I bought on this candle right here. I bought the 140 calls. They were kind of in the money. I feel you on that. This type of market we have. So in this market, I ended up selling them for. So I bought them for $1.09. I sold them for 96 cents at 10.56. So 10.56 right down here. So it retested the 140 area. Obviously, it came back up, but it really didn't do anything the whole day. At this point, when it was up here in this area, let me bring those 140 calls for you, so you can look at what the pricing was on them. I had a good entry right in here. I mean, I didn't catch the bottom at like 80 cents, but I did catch it right here at $1.09, and this went up, and it went up to $1.39. I was up like 20%. And this is what I was saying the other day, is when something's happening, like one of the things as traders, one of the things that you have to stop doing and stay very mechanical is when something starts happening, you expect it to continue to happen. So when Microsoft is bouncing and working in your favor, you're expecting it to go back up. In my mind, you're like, okay, well, it reached the 140, mid 140 area pretty relatively easy. No reason why I can't go retouch up here to 141, right? But in this market, you got to take the money, because there was also news coming out. The reason why I sold it for a loss is because Trump was going to talk, and I didn't know what he was going to say. I mean, one thing that I am concerned about right now is that I know that we said we made a phase 1 deal with China. However, no deal has been signed by the U.S. or by China, and this morning it was confirmed that no deal is going to be signed with China until the earliest is going to be November, when China and Xi meet. So I didn't know what that meant for the market. So I should have having that in the back of my mind. I should have took profits, and the same for Square. So Square also had a good entry on. I had it at 9:20. I got in on the 63 call. So 9:20, got in right here. Should have sold on the pop. Was up about 25%, and ended up also selling for. I sold for what? Yeah, I bought it for 86 cents, sold it for 83 cents. So I got out. The reason why I got out of these positions, I do think that Square is going to go higher, but I was afraid of the political news that was starting to come out. So they were starting to talk. Trump was starting to get more vocal, and I was like, all right, I'm pretty long in the market right now. I'm going to start scaling back my positions, right? So that's why I was a little bit hesitant of having those long positions on, because you know what happens if they're like, if Trump gets pissed or something happens. I mean, the market's gonna tank like a lot, because we're kind of sitting high up here right now. Other trade today, I'll cover J&J and TEVA in a second, but Tesla, this was my other day trade. J&J and TEVA, I am swing trading, but Tesla, I did get out for a 30% profit on that today. I bought in today at 11.39, and I sold at 123. I had the 255 puts. my goal, like I said in the Discord, was like the 255, 257.50 area. It did dip down into here, which is why I sold. So I sold it at 123, which is right after this big red candle here. I sold it right in here, and then I put the position on at 1139. So right in here when it's starting to show weakness. So when it starts making lower highs, I tend to load up in terms of short. It's just the way I like to trade, and good thing I did. So this is another example why you start to take profits again at 20 to 30%, because I had the 255s. I sold them for 191. They're currently going for 140, 146. So in your day trading, so we caught it pretty nice, 147. It did rip up to 220 when it reached down in here, but now we're back to break even. I've been eyeing it. So Aaron, Tesla was one that I called out last night in my watch list video. So I have been making watch list videos of things that I'm looking at the next day. I did call out that we're coming up on potential resistance here. We did have a gap fill, but it got rejected yesterday at 260. Yesterday we got rejected at 260, came down to 257. Today again 260. We came back down to 257, which I know our man AC made some money in that today. On this drop here, but then Tesla came roaring back like a lion. It just went insane. It just ripped back up, and then it started to look weak, so then I added a short position. I wasn't expecting it to go down that fast. In this market, my mentality right now is to kind of swing trade. If this position doesn't work out, I am willing to carry it on over to the next day, because a lot of the times, as you guys know from like Microsoft, a lot of things happen in the morning, but then nothing happens in the afternoon. Same thing with like Apple. Last couple days, it's been having some movement. Today was absolutely flat. So Tastyworks or Robinhood. I prefer Tastyworks. This is the Thinkorswim platform right here. Since TD Ameritrade, since they did lower their commissions, they're pretty competitive. But Tastyworks is a bit cheaper right now. If you're trading more than 10 contracts, I definitely say Tastyworks. Tastyworks caps their commissions at 10 contracts. So beyond that, it gets to be cake. So J&J and TEVA I left those on, currently down on those positions. TEVA quite a bit actually, and J&J. I did buy these to swing the positions. Now I did call these out last night in my watch list video. And J&J, I put a position on. I have the 138 call on the chart today. So they had earnings. They beat earnings. Yesterday was pretty chill, and then they ramped up quite a bit today. They beat earnings despite all the lawsuits for the opioid crisis and all that stuff that they have going on. So I thought it was a good buy. Also on the 1 year, we have a breakout on here after it got above 135. Really, this is confirmation kind of back to the 140 area. It finally broke out of range here. And however, so my intention was to put this position on and swing trade it. We had nice momentum today until the end of the day. Then it came back down to 135. So J&J typically, like J&J and TEVA, are not a very good, they're not very good intraday movers. TEVA was a pretty good intraday mover today though. But if you're trading TEVA, you have to understand that TEVA's usually a swing trade. You don't usually just have it on for a day because it's so cheap. So I was pairing J&J and TEVA together because they kind of go hand in hand. TEVA also had some news for a settlement on the lawsuit as well. TEVA, now I bought the 8 calls for next week. I definitely got sucked in. Right in here is where I got sucked in. So I had the 8 calls, bought them for 9 cents at 10.28. So right in here, I got sucked in right in here until we had a major sell-off. Now, I'm not too concerned because this stock, if anyone trades this stock, it's known to gravitate towards 7. I probably should have not bought at 7.30. Should have waited for for 7. Seven's like a magnet for TEVA. So, but I thought it was going to probably try to make another run at 750, and I'd get out. But knowing TEVA, it didn't do that. So, right now, I thought it was going to try to break range here. It started to make lower highs down here. I thought it was going to make a break for 8. It still can. I do have till next week. I am willing to average it down like one time. So we'll see how it goes. So with J&J and TEVA, those are my only swing trades right now. But J&J I do like. I still do like above 135. I still like it up here. It can still run to 140, I believe. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the market wants to treat it. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but today implied volatility took a big hit. Premium sellers really just took home the bacon today. Yeah, this peaked up a little bit, but over the last few days, implied volatility like on SPY has dropped quite a bit as well. Tesla's about the same. Netflix is up a little bit, but it will drop tomorrow. Yo, what's going on, Boris? I hate Robinhood tracking the amount of day trades you can do. Yeah, you want to get like Billy said, you want to get a cash account with like TD Ameritrade or Tastyworks. Any YouTube videos for setting up Thinkorswim or basic of it? I do have some. I do need to run some updates. I am looking to do. I've realized because I've live streamed so much over the last year, I haven't really posted that many helpful videos for new traders on YouTube. So I'm going to get back to that because that's what a lot of people need. I took NBEV puts. Yeah, NBEV, I haven't traded them in a long time, and well, I don't know, depending on where you bought, I mean, it's pretty good, but NBEV, they have really good volume. They have really good volume on these things. Monthlies have good volume. Weeklies have good volume. Nice job. Nice job, Jeff. Billy, I do believe. I'm not one to get scared while trading, but I was scared when they said Trump was going to speak. I was really concerned that this was going to be a high and we were going to dip down to like 135. We talked about this before, trading with politics and Trump, and I was talking to this with my buddy earlier today, was the market is not pricing in if China and Trump are not going to sign the deal. So far, they haven't signed the deal, so it's a bit concerning. The deal is not locked away. The deal has not been signed. There is no deal yet if it's not signed. There's a potential deal. There's a deal on the table. It's like if you go in to buy a car, they draw up all the paperwork. It looks like you're going to buy the car, but you walk out last minute. So that's kind of what's been in the back of my mind lately, in terms of why I haven't really been risking a whole lot, why I haven't been too aggressive, and also the market I feel is not the type of market that you want to be aggressive in. You know what I mean? Let's get a little Netflix. Netflix back up to 311. Sometimes it's good to take profits once you feel it turning. Yeah, no signatures, no deal. So I don't know what you guys feel, but it's concerning to me. It's concerning to me that the market reacted the way that it did, even though nothing happened. All that happened was talk, which we've been talking 2 years. Now we're closer to a deal than ever before, and the market acts like, the deal has been signed and everyone's making money and things between China and the U.S. are great. However, I am concerned that with SPY, S&Ps, we are getting a little toppy here, getting a little capped out. We could make another run of 302, but yesterday and today, 299 didn't really, being short 299 in the last couple days, like today, shorting 299 yesterday, paid off, even though we did have an epic run. And then today, the Market was a little bit down due to the retail report slowing retail sales. So retail sales weren't good, which could be a sign of economic slowdown. So, I guess in terms of a trader, in terms of technicals, I mean, like charts and everything look good, but at the end of the day, if a news report comes out saying, China's pissed and doesn't want a deal, what happens? What happens to our positions? What happens to all that time we spent into the fundamentals and the technicals? It didn't matter. I guess you could just be short. I guess we could just trade strangles. But the problem with strangles in this market is that they're getting eaten alive because the premium is, the IV is going down, VIX is going down, premium's getting crushed. So, right now it's a good if you're looking at VIX, over the last week, this is the ideal market for the ideal situation, as to say, for premium sellers. So when VIX is going down like this, so premium sellers loaded up when VIX is up in here, true up on the 1 year, when VIX is up in here, when VIX goes down to the lows, premium is getting cheap, premium is getting crushed, premium sellers are making money, which is fine, but then for premium buyers like we do a lot of people here in the chat do, premium buyers like ourselves, we have a harder time. So like if you're having a hard time in this market, there's a lot of things against you right now. Market's not moving, VIX is heading lower, and stocks aren't really doing a whole lot of anything, and we're at the same time we're also waiting for things to happen. So don't feel that bad that you're not getting like super huge winners and you're kind of struggling, because there's a lot of things that are going against premium buyers right now, which we probably should have switched over to some premium selling, which I will be probably doing some more of in the future. I just don't enjoy it that much. People are like, why don't you sell premium? Why don't you just sell premium? And I've sold a lot of premium in the past. I really have. I've done every strategy there is, and it's just one of those strategies I don't necessarily. I enjoy buying stock, buying options, buying puts, buying calls versus selling premium. But when the odds are against you like this, you kind of start to think to yourself, maybe you should have sold some premium. Keith, what's going on, man? How you doing? Glad for you to join us. This is why this is a news-driven market. Even still, it's wrong to play with Americans' hard-earned money in stock with Twitter. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Twitter politics. This news came out yesterday. I don't know if you saw this. Yeah, NBC. Okay, here it is. So I don't know if you saw this, but this is a very interesting move in terms of Twitter. Twitter announced Tuesday that users will no longer be able to like, retweet, or share offending content from world leaders. The update comes after the company announced in June that it would begin flagging tweets from world leaders that violate its policies. So I don't know if you guys have been following this, but people have been saying that Trump and other world leaders are not complying with Twitter's policies when posting content on Twitter. So, earlier this year, Twitter said it would begin flagging tweets from influential government officials who violate its rules around bullying and offensive behavior. The company said it hasn't had to use this feature yet, but in the case where it does, users won't be able to like, retweet, or share the offending content. We want to make it clear today that the accounts of world leaders are not above our policies entirely. The company wrote in a blog post, this post seeks to provide a clear insight into how we can address content from world leaders on Twitter today and will serve as our statement. So I think that this could go one of two ways, right? This could go great and people are going to be very happy. But we're also talking, you have to be careful because we're also talking about censorship. Twitter is essentially potentially censoring, they haven't yet, but they're going to be potentially censoring world leaders based on if it breaks Twitter's user policy. So I don't know if you guys have read the entire Twitter user policy, but I have not. So I mean, we got to be careful of this. And then also, if they start censoring Trump, which Trump is not going to go down without a fight, he's going to bring the fight to Twitter. And we know how much Trump likes to tweet, and they start censoring him. And I feel that if they start limiting Trump's reach with what he says, I think the whole thing is dangerous. I mean, I do understand that tweets are dangerous. I do understand we do have to have some sort of policies. We do have to maintain, and then even world leaders, they do have to comply to the laws and regulations and policies. But at the same time, we know how that goes in the real world, where lawmakers and people are technically above the law. Even though they say they're not above the law, we know deep down, people with a lot of money, people with a lot of influence, they kind of are above the law. But you can't really prove it. So I think that this could be, it's a slippery path, and I think this is also a reason why Twitter has been so slow to react to this, because they've been saying this since Trump took office. Is Twitter has always been a tool of freedom of speech, especially for like countries, Egypt, other countries that are potentially overthrowing governments and stuff. Twitter and those kind of services have been at the forefront of communication, and governments had to block Twitter so people couldn't communicate on it to gather and make plans and that kind of thing. But now the same thing is happening to our government, where we're in a place where Trump says we have a fake news problem, and that we should also have a government-led news organization. The whole thing, I mean, it's just very dangerous. I mean, my personal opinion, obviously, I think that freedom of speech is one of the most important things that we have, right? And not having a governing body for that, I think, is also important, where we have third parties who are able to, they have to abide by the laws, of course, but, like Fox News, CNN, those things, if those were all under the same umbrella, I think we would have a problem. We need to have a variety of news sources from a variety of different organizations with different agendas. So it's a scary place. We're going down the rabbit hole here, and it's not looking good. All right, any stocks you guys want to look at before we sign off here? We're like 47 minutes. I don't think I'll be doing a live stream tonight. I mean, a watch list tonight, mainly because I'm going to be looking at pretty much just Netflix and probably just some of the same stocks. I'm still in J&J. I'm still in TEVA. Microsoft. So Microsoft, only news I trust is Wall Street Journal. Nice. Yeah, I mean, news, before I get into Microsoft, before I get off topic, news, you always have to look at your own personal beliefs. You always have to look at the agenda. You always have to look at you can't just read headlines and take it for granted. You should always be able to think for yourself. But Billy, I am bullish on Microsoft. I just hope the market allows it to run. The market has been keeping it down. Microsoft wants to run. It wants to go somewhere, but it's been there's not a whole lot of juice left here at 142. I wish it would just drop to 135 so we can reload this again, but doesn't seem to be the case. But I do think that it could go to 141 if the market cooperates, 141, 142 area. But the market is not allowing it to push higher right now. MU. I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit lagged behind you guys. Usually it's a little more real time. MU has been making a push up, as you can see, from the 42s up to the 45. However, it's trying to fill this gap here from like the 46 to 48, but doesn't seem like it can do it. You know, AMD. I mean, if you look at all these stocks, I missed the NVDA short today. I mean, if look at AC. I'm with you. You know, I missed the NVIDIA short today, double topped here at 199, as you can see it. I mean, these are trades that we should be nailing in this type of market. These are trades that we should be nailing in this type of market right here. This is a great trade right here. But in terms of the GAFL, I mean, the whole sector is struggling right now. AC, I didn't see that. I was also a little bit preoccupied this afternoon, so I was a little bit preoccupied. I kind of just I didn't do any much trading this afternoon, so yeah. Oh well. You know, we'll get another shot at it. Cron is high. SOXL. Yeah, they're down too. Capping out here like the 190 area as well. Cron, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Cron. Not seeing any news. We'll have to check it out. But good look on Cron. Yeah, the 9. These are some cheap options in here, man. Cheap options here, so we'll check that out. So I think my watch list for tomorrow, it's going to be Netflix, of course, NVIDIA. Right, check out Cron now as well. So, anyways, guys, we're coming up on almost an hour here. It's been fun hanging out. If you guys like the content, appreciate it. Hit the like button. If you want to support what we do here, links are below to our Patreon along with our Discord and Facebook group. Feel free to join those. As always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus Herd.